How will these overnight cues impact our own market? We have our research team joining in to tell you just that. What is the trade setup looking like, the stocks that are likely to be in the news, and the action from the F&O space as well. Hey guys, a very good morning. Sudarshan, let me come across to you. It's going to be an important day for our own markets. We kickstart earnings season, but what are the other market cues?
Well, that's right, morning, Sonal. So the cues on both domestic and global front has largely turned positive as we kickstart earnings for December quarter. But we'll have to see if we manage to build onto the gains we have seen on Wednesday. Talking about the Wall Street move, all the three major indices closed near day's high with gains coming in the range of 0.5% to 1%. And the key contributors to Dow Jones were stocks like Microsoft, Walmart and Salesforce. For our market, for third day in a row, it was about the last hour move. But unlike previous two sessions, Nifty yesterday saw a sharp uptick in the last hour, led by the biggest weighted stock, Reliance. Nifty gained 73 points, of which more than 50 points were contributed by Reliance, which closed at record high. For Nifty Bank, again, its biggest two weighted stocks, ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank, were two major contributors. But this positive sentiment was not reflected in FI's numbers. FI sold shares of rupees 1700 crore, but it was largely offset by DIIs, which bought shares of rupees 2100 crore. If we talk about GIFT Nifty, it's indicating a start with minor gains. And the cues for today, US will be releasing CPI for the month of December, which is expected to rise 3.2% YOY. And next is initial jobless claims for the week ended January 5. And lastly, key earnings of TCS, Infosys and HDFC AMC will be watched closely.
Oh yes, that is going to be the big trigger for today's market. Thank you, Sudarshan, for bringing us all those cues. But let me go across to Hormaz. There's no dearth of stocks in news as well, Hormaz. Please tell us which ones are on your radar.
It never is a dearth of stocks at all, and it'll start off with Mahindra & Mahindra with a CNBC TV18 newsbreak confirmation where the Sustainable Energy Infra Trust has launched its IPO. Remember, CNBC TV18 had reported about this on the 9th of January, saying that this will be listed next week, and Mahindra & Mahindra stake will fall to 10.5% from around 15.5% earlier, so we'll keep that on our radar. A couple of business updates. Phoenix Mills, where total consumption in the December quarter was up 24% year on year to around 3,300 crores. Gross retail collection crossed 700 crore rupees, was up 30% from last year, and on a like-to-like basis, the consumption was up 4% from last year. Bank of India, where gross advances were up 11.5%, global deposits were up 8.5%, and domestic advances grew 11.5% as well from last year. Axis Gates Technologies has launched a QIP to raise funds, and its floor price of 696 rupees is almost a 10% discount to Wednesday's closing price. Kalyani Steel has emerged as a successful bidder to acquire the assets of Kamineni Steel. It will be acquiring around 3.5 lakh tons of billet capacity for around 450 crore rupees, which it has to pay up before the 7th of April this year. In an exclusive conversation to CNBC TV18 yesterday, Mazagon Dock said that the divestment reports so far are only speculative in nature and there is nothing concrete as of now. They also said that there is no requirement of issuing fresh capital for capex for at least the next 2 years, and they are exploring a joint venture with foreign companies for exports and for setting up shipyards abroad. Remember, the government still owns around 84% in Mazagon Dock. And lastly, Safari Industries, where the board will meet on the 15th of January to consider fundraising via preferential issue of shares. Back to you.
All right, so those are the stocks on our radar. Hormaz, thank you for that list. Finally, let me go across to Manglam, joining in with all the cues from the F&O space. Hey, Manglam.
Well, yesterday was interesting for the market. We opened lower, thereafter went to the 20-day moving average, and from there was a big bounce on the Nifty, and it ended virtually at the high point of yesterday's trading session. So if you just take a look at it, the 20-day moving average yesterday was close to around 21,450, and that's where we bounced back from. Now the 20-day moving average has come higher, and so have the supports. Important to know, it was the sleeping giant Reliance that took the Nifty up in yesterday's trading session. The second half, it was all about Reliance. The intraday charts of both the Nifty as well as the Reliance will tell you that. And as you can see, Reliance ended at the high point of trade. Most of that purchase, however, was perhaps by the domestic institutional investors who bought about 2,100 crores in cash. The FIIs, who sold 1,700 crores in cash, also sold around 640 crores in index futures, where they unwound about 6,000 long contracts, added close to 2,150 short contracts. Nothing really to worry here as well, because the FIs are still 63% long on our index. However, it is a Thursday today. What does that mean? It is Nifty weekly options expiry, where is a lot of action. 21,750 call, 21,600 put, and the 21,500 put. What does all of this imply? There is support between 21,450 and 21,500, whereas there is a lot of congestion about 21,750 to 21,800 itself. It is a very stock-specific market, so definitely watch out for a couple of stocks. Most notable of them will be Z, which out of F&O ban was yesterday and now has re-entered in one day itself. Indus Tower and PVR Inox as well have entered F&O ban. Also keep an eye out on Delta Corp. After a recovery from the lows yesterday, the stock is out of F&O ban, as is GNFC.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Magna, for all those cues. That is the Power Prep segment for the day. With that.